economy.
Booze ran the economy hard during Prohibition, right?
I don't know about ran the economy, but it's a
factor.
It was an interesting.
A lot of money was made, not made, whatever.
Well, actually, a lot of families were made too. The Kennedys were made from bootlegging.
There you go.
Yeah,
power was seized.
Our president became a president.
It's a historical pivot point
because of his dad.
It's setting forth motion that circumstances that we couldn't predict now.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the two lessons for the week to wrap up the topic, and then we'll get into our regular segments, and then we'll close out, is I'm hammered, so everybody just give me a break. The mead got me. I haven't even smoked a second joint. That's how, because I'm wasted from the mead. Yeah, it just seems like the economy is something that's not going to go away, and it's necessary, and people get trampled on, killed for it, and we apparently all buy into it. So just try to be better about it, I guess. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast.
Hey, welcome back to the show to all our listeners and everyone tuning in for the first time. It's the guys that might not be a real thing.
I love all of you.
That's right.
Gang, gang.
I'm your host, the Candyman, here with Sean, Macka, and Danny D. Listen, we want to give a big shout out to my main man, Chad, and the crew of the West Neptune in the Gulf of Mexico. This is an oil rig that these guys are merchant marines, and I think they listen to the show. At least somebody does, some of them. And so shout out to the tune of the West Neptune in the Gulf of Mexico, guys. And it's a perfect segue into my week, the topic of the week, which is something I've been driving for a while, which is fucked up shit about the economy and what runs it. Before we get into that, I'm going to pass it off to Macka. Macka, what's up? What happened this week?
Just want to give a shout out to Black Rob, who was a rapper who passed away. You know him from songs like Whoa. And then there was another one that was really big.
Like Whoa?
Like Whoa.
Oh, okay, I know that.
Classic record. And then Shock G, a.k.a. Digital Underground, a.k.a. The Humpty Dance, also passed away.
This is the guy who's like with the big nose and
nose.
The Humpty Dance is the dance. He died.
I like that.
So that guy and Black Rob. That's the name.
And
I'm
DMX.
Getting it correctly.
Jeez, rappers are like pro wrestlers.
DMX
dying young.
Had his memorial today, yesterday and today in New York.
Oh, that's good, because you had mentioned DMX dying, I want to say this is 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And we recorded it on the horror show episode, which hasn't aired. So this is another opportunity for you to be able to, basically hit us with what happened to DMX, because I don't know when that's going to air. But, I know, we talked about him dying.
Right. DMX passed away as well. He had a heart attack. Some random information about what happened to him. Whether it was based on a drug overdose or he just had a heart attack. But
lifestyle.
Right. So DMX obviously is one of the more, the greatest rappers of all time.
What are you smiling about?
I was just thinking about something else, not about DMX.
You got a smirk on your face. So yeah, DMX,
Black Rob. There may have been another. Oh, one of the Fat Boys died too. So
one of the
icons, man.
The Fat Boys, those guys were still alive.
Couple of them, yeah.
That may not be a real thing. Those guys were a heart attack waiting to happen in 1980. That was.
I don't know who the Fat Boys are.
Listen, go back. There were these three brothers.
They were like Fat Boy Slim,
and they used to do one of them was the human beatbox. He used to make the fucking beats with his mouth, and the other two would throw the rap. and that like
They
created.
were fun.
He was one of the
They were a
original.
lot of fun.
He's one of the original beatbox guys.
Probably they were out in like the early to mid '80s.
They had that one movie where they got Uzis and
Yeah.
they were in some sort of compound. I don't remember what, but I remember the movie. It was on HBO at one point.
Weird.
I had a kick-ass week.
Did a cover of this.
They did a cover of the Twist.
Yep.
That's the Fat Boys.
That's the Fat Boys. That was their biggest record. Came out in.
Can we make it a rule that before you're ever going to play a noise on your phone that you give me a quick, like...
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is
you
that?
give me a quick,
Have
like...
some interference.
Hey, I've got this thing I'm about to play.
Yeah, I'll do that. Unless it's an app, then I can't.
No, I don't want to hear any
the
buzzers,
board.
man. That's grounds for retaliation. But I had a cool week this week. Did a lot of good things for... Wasn't Earth Day this week? Is that what happened? I saw a bunch of people, it's Earth Day, but I was already doing my gardening and greenhousing, and I fucking bought bees this week because I'm
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna start keeping bees, and basically, this is our 10th. We've recorded some episodes that aren't aired, but this is our 10th episode, and to celebrate, I got a bottle of mead, which is alcohol brewed from honey.
I really hope I like that, 'cause I want to show up to parties with one of those horns, like one of those like buffalo horns or whatever.
A mead horn.
A mead horn. And anybody asks me what I'm drinking, I'm like, it's mead. Like Robin Hood.
Like they're a weirdo because they don't know what it is.
This is This is the drink of the Middle Ages.
Yeah, this is like beer in the Middle Ages.
It's one of them. Yeah, they had.
They had like ales, I think, too, but
you had ale.
because this could be warm, so you could drink it warm.
You had ale, wine, mead, and I don't think
we'd have hard liquor.
We'd have to look up distillation when that became a thing.
I'm sure they had like moonshines and stuff, but like.
Well, distillation is required. You have to
That's true. They
evaporate
might just
the alcohol.
straight up fermenting.
You got to have a coil to cool it and liquid it.
That's true. So they might not have had alcohol beyond like what they could ferment.
Well,
barrel
metallurgy too, having the coil
and beer and stuff like that. You don't need it. Wine, you don't need a coil.
Yeah, right.
That's for like distillation.
We have to look that up when hard alcohol became a thing. Somebody note that in the ship's log.
You know what I kind of want? I've been talking to my wife about it this week. She's actually kind of cool with it. I want to get a black kilt to wear this summer instead of shorts.
You should wear a kilt.
My balls out.
Just out.
Like, how great would that be? I'd probably get compliments on it. I don't think I'd get too much shit for it.
I don't
Kilts
think
are
so.
cool.
No.
Axl Rose used to wear a kilt.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it.
You already dress like it
I think
from
it's
the waist,
already done.
The waist up.
Corn.
Yeah.
Lead singer Corn.
Yeah, I think it's already done.
Yeah, I'll wear one. I'll wear.
You
Buddhist,
bring them back.
I'll wear
Yeah.
Buddhist robes if you get a kilt.
All right, I'm definitely getting a kilt.
Kanye was rocking them too for a little bit.
Was he?
Yeah, designer kilts. But
Yeah, no, I'm going to get there's a lot of nice makers, handmade. I'm going to get a nice one. Black.
Okay, so shout out to, and this place this is one business, but they've got like 5 names. This place is called The Colony, and it's all things bees. Okay, so they sell raw honey, they sell honeycomb, they sell these bottles of mead, which I've actually always wanted to try, even though I'm not a boozer. It's got the alcohol content of wine. It says on the back here, this is brewed from 2 things bees are known for, or a buzz and honey. Combining 2 things bees are known for, honey and a buzz.
Oh, hey.
How clever is that? Okay. And so shout out to these guys at the Colony in Tyngsboro. They're also apparently New England beekeeping.
I'm really hoping I like it. I'd love to be able to drink this.
This is a fresh bottle. I'm going to pop it right now. It's got a nice cork, although it's already it's full, so it's not going to make a great noise. But here we go. Ready? Oh, that was weak. It was supposed to go boop. I know it's supposed to go boop because my buddy that I play Xbox with drinks whiskey every night, and he has a bottle of whiskey, and every time I hear that pop, I know he's filling up his whiskey. So here we go.
We drink this with ice or just dry?
You know what? That's for Dan.
Hold on. Bees are a huge part of the economy in the world because farming and what is it called? With a
pollination.
Pollination is big with bees.
Bees aid in pollination.
So bees are a big part of the world.
And
we're starting off with them.
There's a huge lack of bees naturally in the in the natural world. There's very few little natural honeybees left, and beekeepers right now are saying that the only bees that are around are the hives that we have. I don't know how we're getting into this, but since it is an economic episode, 1/5 of the honey we consume in this country comes from domestic beekeepers. Everywhere else, we're getting it imported from like, China and Italy and whatever.
Honey's one of those.
That's what we're looking for right there. You ready?
Yeah.
I've never noticed a quality difference in honey. I get like local stuff. I get stuff at the grocery store. Honey seems like honey.
All right. First off, without burning out our electrical gear, quick toast to the 10th episode. That might not be a real thing.
All right, let's see.
Don't drink it. Let's get a smell.
Smells like wine.
Slanche.
It does smell a little wine.
It smells super winey.
Honey though. It smells like honey. Smell honey?
I do. Hardcore. I'm going in.
I like that.
It's got it's like sake.
Yeah,
It's got a little sting.
It tastes like honey though.
Oh yeah, it's got a honey taste to it.
I could do that.
It doesn't make you want to gag, I'll tell you that.
No. I think it's great.
It's nice.
Well, my brain instantaneously recognizes that alcohol is in the system as soon as it touches the tongue. I'm like hammered.
I like that a lot. That's really good.
Ooh,
It's nice.
It's stiff though. It's definitely stiff though.
Stiff drink.
It's definitely stiff, but it's good.
I'm gonna wash it down with a little DP.
Yeah, I have some Diet Pepsi.
Is this our first sponsor?
Our first sponsor is the Candyman Cannabis Company. Shout out to those guys. We really appreciate everything you've done for getting us set up.
Shout out to Candyman.
Shout out to the whole crew, man. Everyone's part of the deal. The Candy there's the Candyman, the Candy Crew, and the Candy Fans.
That's right.
And it's all a symbiotic relationship.
It's all cyclical.
Yep, circular.
We're drinking classy fucking mead out of a classy bottle from a local
Snifter.
beekeeper and a snifter. It's beautiful.
It's a good time.
It's stiff, but it's beautiful. I get a little hint of honey when I chase it. I love honey.
Yeah, try some mead, everybody, if you haven't tried it. And I don't know if they're allowed to sell it on the internet. Let's see.
I think they are. My wife gets wine on the internet.
Honeyboundmeadery.com. Meadery. MEADERY. So honeyboundmeadery.com.
And that's it. That's where you go.
And that's where you can go. So shout out to those guys. Fucking sponsor us and send us a bottle of this shit once a month or something. And we'll drink it. But I'm actually sponsoring them because I bought honeybees and equipment from them to start beekeeping. So anyway,
Circular.
Without any further to do, I'm going to do a quick crash course on some... I've been wanting to do this show on fucked up things that run the economy because when I hear about certain things, I say to myself, that might not be a real thing. How can that be a real thing?
How talking markets, like industries.
You guys have been very resistant to this podcast because it's like this the economy itself is this massive, ever-changing, giant thing that's morphed over the centuries. And I'm not trying to chart that or course it out or whatever. I just want to highlight some fucked up things that, like, we ran the economy on, right? And so, like, real quick, and I don't want to get, like, too scientific, but I did a little research. So basically, up until about 10,000 years ago, supposedly, and keep in mind this is a disclaimer because...
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah,
the oldest profession you're talking about?
I wish. Oh. Prostitution?
Yeah.
You know it.
Should be legal.
Legalize it. Get these incels off the street and in the hoochie so they can stop shooting people.
Right.
But that's a big economic driver for sure. No, but
that meat,
it'll get you.
Yeah, it's good.
Get you.
Hey, basically we have this history that we've been taught that, like, there wasn't civilizations till a certain period of time ago and blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of being rewritten now. So the dates I'm throwing out here, just take them with a grain of salt. But basically, like, 10,000 years ago is when, like, human society basically it's called the Mesolithic period. And don't fall asleep, Dan. It's basically like they were just running around, and there were some cities, but supposedly there was no transportation and stuff. So, but before then, people just traded useful shit. Oh, I have a spearhead. I have a fucking meat. I have daughters or chickens or whatever people would trade. I'm going to marry
my wife.
Oh, marry my son off to your. The tribe leader would marry the son, his son off to the daughter of, like, a warring tribe, and that was like commerce would begin. There was no more war.
This is my cousin Sheila. She does ass to mouth.
Yeah, great. So then apparently, like
try to stay focused. Kurt.
No, I'm focused, baby. Don't worry about me. I got a notepad. Apparently, 3,000 years ago, the Bronze Iron Age happens, and Egypt has half the world's population. I don't know how they figure that one out, but somewhere out there on some website, I cross-checked it on a couple of these fuckers, so saying that half the world resided in Egypt. That doesn't make sense to me because the fucking South America is massive. The whole rest of the world's fucking massive. Why would everyone concentrate there? I don't know, but this is when they entered the Bronze and Iron Age, and they were using coins for money, and I've been trying to wrap my mind around like gold and silver and bullshit, and like why we use these for coins. And like today came up with that and this is just my theory, like back in the day, the Iron Age, iron must have been like valuable because they needed it for tools and weapons. And so they must have smelted the gold and silver because it was soft and shitty and didn't work.
It was beautiful, though.
Yeah, it looks nice. It's this, that, and the other thing, but it was easy. It made sense to just smush it into coins, right? I don't know. It's a theory.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's easier to carry if you have, hey, I want all that hay.
It's also easy to melt, too.
Give them 2 shillings.
And there were all these different economic systems. They had coins that were made out of the same material.
It's easy to melt and pour into like a sand mold or something. Like they'd press it into sand and then look with a master that would go into sand and then they'd pour gold into it, and the gold's really easy to melt.
That's it.
So yeah,
it's right up your alley.
You can't melt other, hard metals as easily.
Ooh, the Vikings used to drink this mead all the time.
They did?
They used to take beeswax, supposedly, and put it in their armpits. And then they would like put coins up there.
Really?
And it would stay in there. This is just what I heard in a history book.
I put honey on my balls.
What's their? It's like Schlante, but it's fucking
skull.
Skull.
That's what we should have said when we had we fucked it up. There's no going back. But yeah, in Egypt they had grain, and they had also the useful stuff that ran, that was worth stuff, but they still traded in gold and coins.
Slaves.
So that's when, at all these things. But that's when money really.
Slave trade, I mean.
Yeah, the slave trade has got to be a huge economic driver. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fucked up shit that's been massive economic drivers in the global economy over history. Slave trade's got to be a huge one, right? Slave labor.
Yeah, just when did it start? When did that shit start?
The first fucking day that one ape clubbed another great ape
group.
Yeah,
like, all right, we're gonna make them the slaves.
So there was always slaves, but when did it?
When did it become a slave, like a driver of the business?
Yeah.
Probably back in sometime around 10,000 years ago, when people had like outposts in cities and they needed.
I don't know. 10,000 years ago, probably like. 100. You took slaves and you were.
I don't know that Göbekli Tepe was 10,000 years ago.
That was built by slaves.
Somebody had to build that shit.
Were they taking slave? Were they like they had slaves and then made them build
It's the equivalent of like trying to build the pyramids. They haven't even unearthed the whole thing yet. They only got it with radar. But what I'm saying is that these massive, like, all right, even just go back to Egypt 3,000 years ago. Like, I mean, it's like, I think it's Hebrew history, right? They like say they were slaves to the Egyptians and that they escaped with Moses and all this other stuff. So like the slave business, when they were paying, like trading for slaves, I couldn't tell you when that started, but I mean, like, people took slaves by force and were like, you guys are the fucking
you're
slaves.
do our work. Yeah.
Like,
a lot of this stuff is like so fucking long ago, it could be just like a movie.
It's the
but
intro
like,
of
it's
Conan.
amazing what survived. Like, there's just like little tidbits and little crumbs for us to see, like, the past. Like, it's like, oh, this building's still here, this rubble's still here. It's amazing how things just survived thousands of years.
Well, it's when they're built out of stone. Our shit today just wipe out in a second.
Yeah.
One big fucking
like in 1,000 years, these houses won't be here.
One real bad EMP and all our like real heavy load, like sunburst or something, sunflare will like wipe out our data storage centers, everyone's credit card debts,
and then
bank accounts.
You could make mead for like a living.
Oh, you bet your ass. Yeah, I'm half in the bag from 4 sips of the mead.
I really like it.
So you had mentioned the Silk Road, Sean. What did you? Because that's next on my list. That's when the Middle Ages is like supposedly when this is like the Middle Ages in like particularly in Italy, like the those cats. They got the Medicis. They got a show. Medicis. They had the bank in Italy in Florence, and they were like supposedly somehow connected with Leonardo da Vinci. But
yeah, he did work for them and stuff.
Yeah, so the Silk Road ran from Italy to basically China, I think.
I think it ran.
Oh wait, we're talking about the real Silk Road,
It started
talking about the dark
Silk
web.
Road. The Silk Road's a trade route that people traveled from
Egypt through Italy, through India into China.
No, but,
Okay,
isn't there a Silk Road?
But
like
it did go all the way up to Rome because Marco Polo
Traveled through
came
Rome.
from Italy.
Right.
Isn't there a dark web Silk Road too that sells drugs? Or
Right,
did sell
yes,
drugs?
yes.
Okay.
Probably.
That's what I thought we were going to talk about. I didn't know we were talking about a real Silk Road.
Well, it's interesting that it's called that, right? Because me personally, I think Silk Road is like the innovation, the roots, which is like to us is so common.
GPS, just plug it in.
But that's an innovation back then because
Maps.
you had to map it out and you had to find the easiest way to get there, and then boom.
I think they did it the same way they
Now you're
navigated the
trying.
ocean.
How do I get drugs on the internet? Silk Road.
Silk Road.
That's amazing. You can just order anything, and the dealers were like trustworthy.
Right.
They shut them down though.
What would happen if we drink this whole bottle tonight?
Man,
I can't do
we
that.
just record for hours.
I don't think we could kill it in an hour, to be honest.
No.
with you. Not soberly.
It's a big bottle.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a liter. It's one standard liter.
So
what were you-
Silk Road. So the reason why I wanted to talk about that is I actually recently went to see a Romanian woman who.
Wait a second. Is this where you were last weekend?
Is this the oldest profession?
No, it's not. It's I don't know. It's probably
No, I mean, is
debatable.
she a prostitute?
No,
She's not a
easy
prostitute.
Easy killer.
She was Romanian, and I'm being nice in that language because the other language is Gypsy, and I don't think people like that. But she was a Romanian woman, and
Pakis.
she read my tarot cards.
Yeah, tarot cards.
Did she lift your wallet?
She,
Medusa's big into tarot cards. That's how I know about them.
yeah,
I know what tarot.
so she read it, and she read about she drew 3 cards for my past, present, and future.
Really?
And in the past, she said, "Oh shit."
This is whoa. Previous life or Sean's past?
I don't know. It's what the cards said.
Just the essence that is you.
And she said past. She said you worked on the Silk Road.
Like, so that's
You were an Irishman that worked on the Silk Road.
so you were taken by Roman
Not
slave
taken
as a slave.
I asked that.
Wait, isn't
She
that
said-
weird that you're an Irishman and then later on you're an Irishman too, like in another life?
I know.
It's like you're stuck being an Irishman.
I've been ancestrally an Irish person this whole time.
Maybe his entity likes it. Just
But
like
she said I
wants to
wasn't.
do a little jig and keep getting back in those Irish bodies. I don't know what they're into. Fist fights.
Yeah. So so when she said it, I actually started having memories,
Get out.
and I was in.
What?
Get out.
Yeah, man.
What?
And I was
This
on.
is the type of stuff me and him would say. You don't say this stuff.
No,
Yeah, this
it's
is
real.
flooring me.
It's real.
I'm
I was
also, like-
on the Silk Road,
You mean like
and it was purple. That's the memory I have of it. That it was purple. It was the actual road, and it was purple. But my job was to touch the silk to make sure it's real.
that's fucked up because your hands are silky smooth.
That's what I'm saying,
Holy
baby.
shit.
That's fucked up.
And that's what this one card said at the tarot card.
Dan, I don't know shit. I know what they are, but you must know more about tarot reading than I
Oh,
do.
actually, I've been training in tarot for the past year.
Well, good. Then you can explain how it
Wait,
operates.
okay, so it's very involved. Like, you could train for 10 years and still not understand what each card means. You have to reference the book.
This lady was born into it. She was Romanian.
Silk is a
Yeah.
fucked up thing that ran the economy, and that's
Tell me
a
about
great.
it.
That's a great thing,
Silk
dude.
underwear.
No, dude, it's the fucking fiber that shoots out of the ass of a caterpillar. How do they fucking gather it? How do they make it stick together? How does it be woven into these super strong
Fuck that.
fabrics? You know, silk is so strong that the plains riders, like Genghis Khan and the Mongolian hordes, if they were rich, it was basically like mithril. They had a 1 inch or a 2 inch thick, or it was silk on one end with a layer of something, then a layer of silk. Just like we make Kevlar now, dude. They had a layer of silk, a layer of some other shit, a layer of silk, a layer of some other shit.
Woven.
It could stop an arrow.
Wow.
It was basically a arrow-proof vest made out of silk. That if you were rich, you had it back then.
At that time, too, I think China was the
I think it would
biggest.
stop a knife too if it tried to stab you. I'm not sure.
China and Egypt were the biggest economies.
Those are the powerhouses.
Right, but they couldn't travel freely.
Why? They had ships,
Yeah, but not.
seafaring.
Maybe they were, but they weren't. They weren't. Exploring like the
Egyptians were
Europeans
known.
were.
Egyptians were known for having good sea vessels. I'm pretty sure.
but were they sea vessels that could
I think it was just dangerous.
travel long
I think
distances?
it was dangerous. They just couldn't make it.
Right.
So it was just easier to go on land. You had a higher success rate of making it back, probably.
Right.
Yeah, that's a fucked up thing. That
Wait, you liked rap? You like rap? You had to wrap silk back then. And connect.
It's all connecting, man.
Here's what's fucked up about the economy, silk, all these things. Okay, I get it's a jungle out there, and that we're in like a eat or be eaten, literal jungle environment. All animals live in, right? We just happen to be smarter. Humans do fucked up shit for money, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's on Amazon Prime. And then like some Epix company bought it for season 2, Epix, whoever they are. But it's a British-made show called Britannia, and it's about when Rome occupied Great Britain. And an awesome scene in the show that resonated with me for this week was like whoever's the Caesar of Rome at the time is coming to visit this outpost in Britannia that they've established. Okay, and he's going to show up and wave and do all this other shit. He's the leader, and they're trying to stamp out the native British rebellion. And so the general's talking to the guy, and he's saying that it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, all this logic, these people value something different. And the general's like, what is it? And he says, magic. And the king's like, magic? It's not real. And the general's like, it doesn't matter if you and I believe in it, they believe in it. So to them, it's real, and that's what matters. And so then the Caesar guy, he happens to be in the house where they're smelting coins, and he holds up a coin, and he says, you see this? He goes, it doesn't matter at all. He's like, but everyone believes in it. And everyone, he's like, they'll betray their brothers, they'll slit their best friend's throat, they'll do anything to get it. And he's holding up just like a coin, And I'm like, that's fucking so right on the money. I was like, so it doesn't matter what the coin is. It's the shit that's run the economy that generates the coins over the years. People do horrible shit to acquire. And the Silk Road, who knows how many fucking people were killed. Like they were riddled with robbers, right? Yeah. Bandits and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to go in a caravan or you're going to get fucked up by like, some Tuscan raider people from the desert.
You had to be skilled with the sword.
And bow and all. Just fighting in general.
Yep, and then nunchucks.
Yeah, because
you acquired nunchucks on the way back. Because you got to China.
Have you seen
Have
you seen Marco Polo on Netflix?
Oh yeah,
that's a great show.
Right, great show.
100 Eyes, the
1,000 Eyes
karate guy.
Oh, you should. It's good.
You haven't seen it? It's great. It's really good.
Is it realistic?
It's historical fiction, like Vikings, I guess.
Oh, yeah, Vikings is completely fiction, pretty much.
So yeah, I don't know. Silk.
Well, think about I think you made a good point. Is that over the centuries that there's been, evolving society, everything's really run on murder.
Yeah, Silk. We murder each other for it because we decided that it was valuable, right?
Yeah.
But it is valuable.
The oil trade with whales that ran the economy, a good portion of the economy when whaling was when was whaling running shit? What do you think? 1700s to
1800s.
I mean, you already had the ability to cross from Great Britain to the U.S. You got to have whaling already on the table, right? So whaling's probably been out there for a while as a practice, but when it boomed and became like, hey, this is what's fucking running shit, was like 200 years ago, probably, right? So
I would say
you've got one group of people that are this organism, human beings, developed on land or whatever, and we're running around. We build ships, and we decide that there's this big fucking animal out there that when we hunt it, it's full of oil. And we develop this whole goddamn process and fine tune it. And they'd go out in these little boats and chase these whales down and fucking harpoon them.
There's other parts of the whales they use too.
They use it all, dude.
They use this one thing for soap. I forget what it's called.
But that wasn't for energy. Well, it was.
It was
for lighting candles.
They used it for heating. Yeah, they used it for cooking. There were different they had different whale oils for different things. Like the sperm whale is called the sperm whale because in its fucking not long ass noggin, it's full of this white clear fluid that like allows its sonar to operate, and that's basically an oil that they call spermaceti, and that was the most valuable oil on the whale. And so like
sperm.
Yeah, well, it looked like sperm, so that's why they called it that. They're like, this whale's head is full of this jizz-like substance, gallons and like hundreds of gallons of it floating around the noggin of a head. You know how fucking big an animal has to be for this? They had a person climb in the cavity and scoop all that shit out, and it had to be, you would have been the one to do it. It was the smallest guy on the boat. Sometimes they'd have boys.
That would have been me.
They'd have boys out on the boat. God knows what they were getting up to out there, but they had the boy go down there and scoop out this stinky, smelly oil. I was trying to quote reefers just then. What's the quote at the beginning? Well, she was in there.
Reefers?
Yeah, he's like, she was in there. Well, she's living in an apartment with 300 individuals.
She's in a room with 300 individuals. God only knows what they're up to in there.
He's like, one of them was.
Furthermore,
he's
Susan.
Like, he's like, one of them was male and two of them were female. Yeah. God only knows what they were doing in there.
That's from Reefer Madness, I think.
Reefer Madness. Why do I call it reefers?
Well, I don't know. But it's Reefer Madness, and it was just like a propaganda piece, you know.
Forever.
Saying that, like, people who smoked weed walked around raping women, and they had, like, jizz all over themselves. And
when was that?
Like, their jizz, you could notice that they were a weed smoker because they had jizz on their pants.
Yeah.
And right now,
but the booze people are okay.
They probably were. They're probably getting laid more and had some jizz on their pants.
Probably.
So now marijuana is a huge economic driver around here. Someone was telling some of this research led me down a couple of rabbit holes, but you throw me off course. You tell me if I'm wrong here, but all right. So first off, in the 1980s, Pablo Escobar was supposedly the 10th richest man in the world at one point. Is that considered a true fact?
I don't know. I'm a fucking retard. I don't know any of this stuff.
Well, if you look it up, or if you've watched,
he was very rich, though.
Okay, you say top 100.
He was. I think his GDP was like insane or something like that.
All I know is that this cat was on the list of the list. All right, and what was his main thing? Cocaine. So I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I've never tried it, and like I'm saving it for when I'm older. But like
I've tried it.
Well, I'm saving it for when I'm older.
What did you think?
Loved it.
That's why I haven't tried it.
It's terrific.
Yeah. That's why I haven't tried it, man. What if I love it like everybody else?
Well, you're not going to hate it, I'll tell you that. Nobody does it and it's like, it's not for me.
I already have things that I love and I don't want to get rid of them. This is one of them right here.
So Escobar is the wealthiest criminal in history, having amassed an estimated net worth of $30 billion by the time of his death, equivalent to $59 billion as of 2019.
There's still money they can't find, hidden.
Right. They don't even...
Imagine some guy who finds like a locker for like 20 mil. That'd be nice.
I don't know if they've factored that in, but in the show Narcos, they heavily put an emphasis on the fact that there was millions and millions of dollars buried.
Yeah, and
in random locations.
Towards the end, he had to make a fire when he was out on the run, and he used wads of money because he just didn't care about money anymore.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate to say it, but that money had to come from somewhere, and it came from cocaine. So it means that for a period of time, cocaine, in part, and possibly still does, run a big piece of the economy.
Yeah, I would say it still does. I mean,
and it had to do with Wall Street
Mexico,
right. and it's fucked because it's surrounded with violence and death.
I think it should be legal.
It will eventually. I think we're living in like a society that that baby boomer generation had a really they're stuck in their ways. They had a very clear picture given to them of who they were, what their role was, and what was right and wrong, and they fucking believed it, damn it.
Yep.
And then the hippies in the 60s came along, and they rebelled a little bit, but then when they grew up and had kids and stuff, and, I don't know, Jimmy Carter became president at one point. That was significant.
He did.
Some of them held to the hippie views, but not a lot of them survived. Yeah, they're all boomers now.
Right. They just turned into regular old people that were stuck in their ways, and they had some beliefs.
I know a few, though. I know a few hippies that are old.
I think... I hate to... I imagine it fluctuates, right? So I was talking about this at the gym today, but...
little dinkies.
No, I was saying
how, little hippie dinkies in the shower.
A lot of people out there are worried that in particular, my old man thinks that right now we're witnessing the downfall of democracy.
They always think that.
I know that in America, and he thinks
you hit 65 years old, 60 years old. You think that everything's going to shit.
Yeah,
he thought that when Obama.
It's not what you knew as a kid. So
right. And your body's going to shit. And your mind's going to shit.
They say, kids today don't get it. My childhood was the best. It's of course it was the best. It was your childhood. Everybody's childhood is the best childhood.
Except when it isn't.
Stupid fucks. Except when you have a bad childhood. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, we had it better as kids. We didn't have video games. Like, no, you didn't. Video games were way cooler.
So I was saying, like, all these people are, like, worried about, like, communism and socialism and all this other crap. And I'm like, look, these isms change all the fucking time. And I was like, just because it didn't work out one time doesn't mean it's a bad idea. Like, we're living in a different age now than, like, we were. Like, when socialism and communism were even really mainstream brought up was, like, turn of the century 1900s, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it didn't take hold until really the 80s, right? Or the 60s, I guess.
60s. Right? Well, no, it was there the whole time, but like when Russia became the other superpower versus the United States, that's when the
so you've got all these other isms, and you know they didn't work, but like now we live in the information age, and I get that they still censor stuff, but like we have the ability to communicate on thoughts and ideas and information and money in light speed, right? So like. Things could work now if we tried them, right? And you just got to give it other shots. That's all I'm saying. But
I would just add too that if you think about, like, you know, we're talking about the fucked up things that push the economy.
Oh, isms affect the economy.
But what I'm saying is like people don't want to change. So like when oil became something that could change like as an energy source,
they resisted it.
I'm sure, and they had to get murdered.
You gotta get coal, man.
You
gotta buy some whale oil, sucker.
Because they were
pine trees.
They made money on that, and that was their way of life. And
the man controlled it.
Coming with new idea, dead.
Well, that's what's happening that's what's basically happened with fossil fuels. Is like in the last like 50 or 100 years, even Tesla, right? Danimal, when Tesla's 1800s, yeah.
No, 1900s.
19, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was late 18.
No, early 1900s.
So,
maybe turn of the century.
That's basically the next thing.
Yeah, turn of the century.
The next thing on the list is like that time period around 1800, the Industrial Revolution, whatever. The world started to get a lot smaller. There were way more people traveling, way more things. Then you get all this other stuff. Then it starts being, you know, there was the gold standard. I don't even want to get into that fucking shit. I don't know why we had the gold standard.
There's a lot of cool, like, steampunky kind of, like, electric, like, inventions they tried to invent at the time. Like the tattoo machine was invented by Edison, but it was for something else. It wasn't even for tattoos. I forget what it was for, but he invented the tattoo machine, and also he tried to invent a machine that talked to the dead, like it communicated with dead people.
Because he was trying to like
he didn't know what was in
frequencies
on the waves and frequencies and electricity. He didn't know.
They were
with
pioneering that shit. Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, so technology became a big deal in economic drivers, like when that time came out. And still, same old story, man.
Always
people getting
too,
whacked the fuck out over it, right? So, like, anyone who comes up with a new way to create, like, 0-point energy or anything, the big oil companies, they either make a car accident or suicide happen, or they just straight up disappear the person, or on the best case scenario, they buy the patent and they bury it, right?
Something. I mean,
it's happened so many times.
Tons.
They use political connections and other types of laws that, you know, the boring stuff now that they don't have to kill people anymore.
You're saying you don't think people are getting whacked out?
I think they are, but I'm saying they just
shut them on Facebook and then that's it. They're fucked.
Yeah, that they could cancel them.
Yeah. Like Trump got de-twittered, right? Yeah, imagine that.
Deservedly so, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, it can happen.
It can happen to anyone.
Instead of whacking you now, they just, no more Twitter, pal.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Guess what, assholes? I don't even have a Twitter.
Me neither.
I do, but I don't use it. But yeah, you're silenced, you know? What's the point of you if we don't even know what you're saying?
Chris just finished his first glass of mead.
Yeah, let's get into another one.
Can you call it a glass? What do you think it was? 2 ounces? Was it 2 ounces?
It was a lot.
2 fingers.
It goes down. Before
we close today, Chris, can we? Candyman, can we talk about?
Plenty of time, buddy.
Can we talk quickly on the close? I think we should finish this conversation, but about your physical.
My physical.
Yeah, but we'll get there. So
you had a physical?
I have no idea what this man's talking about.
We'll get to it. I'll talk about it.
All right.
But yeah. So, anyways, back to murder in terms of changing the global economy. You think about, like, all right, Christopher Columbus crossed the ocean. I don't remember the whole story.
He was a cunt.
He was a cunt, but he crossed the
I didn't know him. How do you guys know he was a cunt?
He seemed
was a
like
cunt.
it.
Seemed like a lot of bad things happened as a result.
He wrote a lot of bad things that he did.
As a result of what he did.
He wrote a lot of bad things in his journals, like how they he just thought they were savages.
Yeah, I think his initial, like the first part of what he did,
Kill people too,
was great. Like he crossed the ocean, and that may have been done before, and other people didn't get credit.
Vikings,
right? Vikings, but like at that moment, Spain was the big.
They were it. Spanish Armada.
Spain was the shit back
they
then.
ran shit.
pirates,
And Columbus
Crescent Moon
came
formation.
over, and he made that travel happen, whether it was on purpose or not. But it was all for spices.
Yeah, spices ran the. Rome supposedly went broke for pepper. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what people say.
and
I think they got
the
spread too.
spices that they found in Central de Americana and South America, they brought back to Spain and blah blah blah.
And the rich people were like, yeah,
And what do they do to the people?
exploitation.
They didn't speak Spanish.
Set up
before.
slavery.
masturbation.
Make them Catholic.
Right. Yeah. Right. All of
Impress their beliefs upon them, basically, and make them conform to their model.
that. Destroyed it all.
Get rid of that. Drink the mead, man. Just stuff.
Yeah. But yeah. So you have to recognize like the fact that that man traveled across the ocean off the route, went the wrong way, whatever he did, and he got here, and then he murdered and raped everybody. And that's where he went wrong. That's
Lots of sodomy.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a guy personally, but I mean, let's not forget he showed up with 3 boatloads full of dudes. They probably ran wild
he was the boss, though.
with gunpowder. Yeah, that's
He
true.
was the boss.
Yeah, keep your men in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the same old story is that no matter what is valuable at the time, like today it's information, right? Like information's a big economic global driver. Pop that thing. Boop. Rare earth minerals, right? Because they're powering the phones that we use for the information, right?
That's fucked up too.
Yeah, it's all tied in.
Diamonds.
That's what I'm saying. You could do
Diamonds are worthless.
You could do a 1 year podcast on all the things of the economy and still not cover everything. It's so big. There's just certain things that
And
are
all the things that
fucked up.
that made that shit happen too, like the wheel
Yes, the wheel.
basically
itself.
opened up. Then the boat, then the fucking jet, and then after that it's communication. Like I don't have to send a letter anymore.
Yeah,
I
email.
can call, and then that call goes to
FaceTime.
now it's text. Now it's fucking. At some point it's gonna be like, oh hey, and you're gonna. I didn't say anything, but I did, and you know what I said.
You're talking like, what's
You're
his name?
gonna
Elon Musk wants to put Neuralink in everybody.
Yeah. Or
You're
something
telling me
like that.
I'm going to be able to like think to myself, oh man, that Bruce Springsteen video is fucking awesome. I want to send it to Sean and be like, classic. And I'll think it and I'll zip it over and you'll be like,
I can't wait.
In your mind, you'll be like, dancing in the dark.
It's gonna be glorious.
Yeah.
We're all
Unless
headed
it's
on
not.
that.
I can't wait.
Unless it's not.
Unless
It's a hive mind control thing. I don't know. It sounds like the way things are going, so I'm not too worried about it. So, all right, that's again what I was saying at the gym today. Like, even if people are worried like computers are going to take over the world, I'm like, what if they do? What if that's how it's supposed to go?
What if they already have?
man, they already have. We
Yeah,
are the new slaves.
It's
to
highly likely that
computers.
we're really just fucking we're like everything we're doing is just trying to make computers better, faster, smarter, and like we think we're doing it for us, but really we're just making this
We're
power.
birthing the Terminator.
Yeah,
Skynet.
we're birthing a new
Become
thing,
self-aware.
man. It's fucking nuts.
We have
So-
computers in our pockets right now.
Once they become self-aware, we're fucked.
Also, let's look at, like right now you can say all the technology and all the innovations and things that run the world like give us this opportunity to do fucked up shit.
Yeah, we get our podcast because of it.
Not just murder, but like,
We couldn't do this podcast when we were 17, 21.
It would have cost us like we'd have to find a studio.
They didn't exist
We'd have-
then, too.
No,
Yeah,
I-
they-
We would have had to find radio waves.
yeah, we'd have
on
to get a
radio
radio
waves.
show.
Yeah, we'd have to find like local radio waves and buy it.
That was the original
that
plan.
was the original plan.
Unfortunately, we had to wait for the technology.
Was
to
it really?
catch up. Yeah, man. When we were in college, we used to
We had
want
a
to have
radio
radio.
show.
We want to have
It was
radio
called
show.
Chicks-
Should have had a college
It was
radio.
called Chicks Dig It.
Chicks dig it.
It was on megahertz.
Yeah, which doesn't
We had
exist.
shirts.
You actually had a show?
Well, debatable on whether we had.
No, we had no real radio.
You ever record?
We had everything but a show.
But a show?
We did our best.
We're on megahertz.
It's not like today. It's not like
What's megahertz?
I don't know.
it's a different frequency. But one night we were wasted. I told some bartender, and it didn't exist, and Sean knew it, and the guy knew it, but I didn't know it. So I just made myself look like a complete retard.
He
It's no
said
big
the
deal.
AM radio. He said
Might have been my 21st birthday, to be
Yeah,
honest.
we're on 8627. He goes 27. He's like, without a second of,
That's not even
of
a-
hesitation, he goes, "It's megahertz, baby."
It's definitely my 21st, right?
No.
We were up
like-
in Nashville in the limo, cruising around.
Nah, it was just a day. It was
Just
just,
we were out
You must have
we were out on all day.
That guy must have been like, that guy's a fucking retard.
I don't know when we
He was
invented.
just like, okay.
I don't know when we invented the first all dayer. Not that we invented it, but when we discovered the use of the all dayer.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's sometime around when like Kevin Patton came into our lives. But like we just became like it became a thing we did every once in a while. We would be like, yo, all dayer next month, Saturday. And that meant that we were going to get hammered
Yeah.
and wasted from like
Drink
8
all
like
day.
early in the morning, from like 8 a.m. until the fucking party stopped, whatever time that was the next day, that day, whatever. And so we probably had ourselves, what do you think, in our life, like 20 good all dayers, maybe?
I think there was only
20 good ones.
for me. There was only one 8 a.m. start, and that was that was a formal.
That's a horrible day. That was Uno de Mayo.
It was Uno de Mayo.
Yeah, that's the day I met my kid's mom.
Yeah.
So
But you also gave
set into motion
So we
things
were
that
in
I
a-
would not know.
We were in a class together. It was a lecture hall class, and we were
Shit faced. I was
yeah,
shit faced.
yeah. We were
10 a.m. maybe.
It was 10 a.m. We went to a bar before our class at 8:30, like real jerks. And Chris, I mean, he came in late.
That's so
I'm
early.
just sitting there, like, okay, I'm in class.
There were people there drinking.
Candyman is out in the hallway doing whatever. He comes in late.
Talking to my kid's mom.
That's what you were doing.
That's what I was doing.
Comes in late.
I remember it.
Talks to two groups of people.
Like
Then he comes over and sits next to me, and a woman in front of us, a very attractive young woman in front of us that always sat in front of us. He said some things to her. The professor is literally giving his speech or whatever, and he calls Candyman out, and he goes, "What do you think?" And he stands up,
I went on a low.
and he went on a
tangent.
10-15 minute tangent.
Mind you,
it felt like that.
We had a semi in the closet homosexual professor who clearly wanted to have sex with me. He wanted to suck my cock. He wanted me to suck his cock. He wanted something.
It's kind of gay.
He let him
He would
take
just
over.
Yeah, he was looking at me like a fucking steak. He was like, "Oh yeah." Spellbound. Didn't matter. I could have been saying anything. He was
You
just
were
thinking,
saying anything.
He was
What were
thinking
you talking about?
It doesn't even matter. It wasn't.
Hammered.
It had nothing to do with what he was talking about.
hammered.
And then he left, and we still had like 30 minutes left of the class.
And I just walked out. I was like, I can't do this. I'm going back to the bar. See you later. Yeah,
that
that
was
was
it.
that was rough.
All day I was running the economy.
Booze ran the economy hard during Prohibition, right?
I don't know about ran the economy, but it was
It's a factor.
It was an interesting.
A lot of money was made, not made, whatever.
Well, actually, a lot of families were made too. The Kennedys were made from bootlegging.
There you go.
Yeah.
Power was seized.
Our president became a president.
It's a historical pivot point.
Because of his dad.
It's setting forth motion that circumstances that we couldn't predict now.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the two lessons for the week to wrap up the topic, and then we'll get into our regular segments, and then we'll close out, is and I'm hammered, so everybody just give me a break. The mead got me. I haven't even smoked a second joint. That's how, because I'm wasted from the mead. Yeah, it just seems like the economy is something that's not going to go away, and it's necessary, and people get trampled on, killed for it, and we apparently all buy into it. So just try to be better about it, I guess. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Be positive. Don't. I seen Kai the Hitchhiker. You know who this guy is?
Oh yeah, I think he's dead.
Is he dead?
Yeah, I think so.
No. Kai the Hitchhiker may or may not be a mass murderer, but he has killed.
He's in jail. Yeah,
I know he's in jail. But he rose to like famedom because he was hitchhiking, and the guy he was hitchhiking with was like on PCP or some shit, and drove his car like into two girls that were like walking on the street, And then he got out and he was like trying to beat them up or whatever. And so this dude, Kai the hitchhiker, get out. You can look it up on YouTube, bro. He hits the guy over the head and murders him. And when you hear him on the news, he goes, smash, smash, smash. Yeah. And anyway, this guy became famous because he saved these women's life. He murdered this other dude and got off about it because he was defending these women, whatever. So he's on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Jimmy Kimmel gave him a bunch of money, a couple grand or whatever. And this hitchhiker dude walked across the street and gave it to some other homeless guy and just said, see you later. And so Jimmy Kimmel's like, what the fuck are you doing? And Kai goes, the best way to devalue a currency is just stop believing in it, man. And that's exactly rounding out what I was talking about with Caesar.
Is this the guy who helped the people, give them the last money? That under the fake.
No.
One of them was fake.
No, this is not his last money. This is he was on Jimmy Kimmel because they were like.
Why was he on Jimmy Kimmel to begin with?
Because he was viral. He went viral for saving these women's life by hitting another man over the head.
Okay, this is a different story.
With a hatchet that he had in his bag. Smash. So he kills this motherfucker with a hatchet. Becomes famous, goes viral. All these people want to have him on the show, right? And so Jimmy Kimmel's like, what do you want? He's like, I really like this like wetsuit and surfboard, man. He's like, that's really what I want. So they gave him this like, probably like $2,000 setup of this like dope surfboard and this wetsuit, which he kept. But then he gave he also gave him a bunch of money, and the dude immediately gave the money away to some homeless guy. And what I'm saying is, he said, just stop believing in it, and it won't have any more value. And so it's right
that's
there.
Where we're headed.
I don't know.
With the crypto.
With the cryptocurrency, it's still worth something.
Well, it is.
They're trying to stick it to the man.
That's what will take over.
Tell me about it, because I don't know.
I know nothing. I just know that it's blowing up.
What's Dogecoin? Is that like a competitor?
I don't know much, but what I would say is Google it, and I would say that
it's a competitor.
It's a fake. It's not real.
It's not real money?
No.
But people are using it for trade?
It's like a meme.
It's a means of trade?
A meme stock or a meme crypto. It's like something that they made as a joke. So it's not real.
So it's not like cryptocurrency.
It is, but it's not real. It's just this company made it.
I mean, most money.
Now people are buying stocks in it, and it might.
So that makes it fucking real, now, dude. If people are buying stocks,
could become real, but
dude,
I mean that it's real. They're not buying stocks. They're buying. Well, maybe they're buying stocks. I don't understand how cryptocurrency is traded, but it's not real.
Somebody please message us and tell us what the fuck. What do you got over there?
Oh, nothing. I was looking at my bizarre beyond belief.
What is it? Give it to me.
Oh no, it's just a video that the Pentagon confirmed was real a week ago, and it's a triangle in the sky. It's unbelievable.
I saw something about that UFOs were again
pyramid-shaped object
again recognized by the government as not being ours, unless they're just
Trust me, they're very concerned about what's going on.
Who is the U.S. government?
Yeah, Pentagon.
Really?
Because they're powerless against them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be concerned too. If you were shutting down all my best weapons and just see you later, like it was nothing.
Well, yeah, and like some of these times,
flicking a fly across the table. Boop,
and like
see you later.
Our F-18s, whatever, like the best jets in the world, can't even keep up with these things at all. Like,
yeah, I think they're flying with some other propulsions that we don't. We don't recognize or know.
So it's not much of a bizarre beyond belief. It's just, I was just looking at this.
You're telling me
the end is near.
Also, my farts don't smell. It's a mystery I could never figure out.
I don't believe that.
I swear to God, my farts don't smell.
Wow.
Never. I want to light them with methane just to see if there's any methane coming out.
You say never or?
No, I've had fart smell before, but mostly 99% of the time they don't.
Your whole life?
Yep.
Might have something to do with the fact that you're only eating 1,200 calories a day, and you're consuming.
That's recent.
You're consuming I
eat a lot of junk food.
Every nutrient. You do?
I do. I used to.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now you're eating clean.
Yeah. I'm eating pretty clean. I still have like chocolate and stuff, but.
All right. Well, I got a doozy. I don't know if it's a doozy. I thought it was a doozy earlier, but now the mead's got me. I got a doozy of Adjust the Tip this week, and you know what?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Adjust the Tip has been targeted at, I guess,
nerdy.
First of all,
incels.
Just guys that aren't, are awkward with girls, I guess. But today I decided that's fucked up. It's got to be for everybody. So today's Just the Tips for the ladies out there. And I'm really excited about it because it's the first one, I think. But basically, I said to myself, what's fucked up is that, and I've been trying to change this forever with the whole cool girl phrase, right? But like, people want in like a sexual equal society, okay? And everyone's driving towards this thing now where it's not even men and women anymore. It's like all these other things that we're labeling ourselves as, and blah, 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 or no labels at all. But I do know this. Still to this day, seems like when dudes are out there hooking up with girls, they get high-fived by their buddies, and then the girl has to keep it a secret, and...
Because her friends will call them sluts or something.
Yeah, the girls need to be the ones that flip that script, though.
Not us.
They need to be like, yo, I hooked up with Tommy, what's his name, the other day. Like, if I was a girl out in, let's say, I don't know, Adelaide, Australia, I'd fuck, I don't know, say Matt Cizurko, and I'd tell all my friends about it, and I'd be like, yo.
Can we have him on?
I'd love to.
Yeah, let's get this guy on.
Let's get him on the air.
Mm-hmm.
He has a stutter. He gets nervous.
Well,
he talks fine. We'll get him on. Yeah, that'll get him. We'll help get him on there. So I'll ask him. I'll ask him tonight. The girls need to be the one to flip the script on that bullshit. Girls need to go around bragging more about the guys they've hooked up with. And they need to, like, if a guy's like calling them bad names, you'd be like, yo, you're the one with the fucking problem. I'm cool. I did this. I did that. And I think if they did that for like a good 20 years and they taught their daughters to act that way too, we could stamp it out of society. So my just the tip this week is actually good for everyone. But I mean, we all feel the same thing, man. Girls want to get laid. Guys want to get laid. It's just this bullshit societal thing that's like slowing people down. I don't really think it's slowing anyone down.
Makes women have to feel guilty and guys.
Yeah, fuck that, man. If you're a chick, go out and get some. And you want to... You know, in Conan the Destroyer, they had that Mayday girl who was like the black chick with the staff who was fucking stuff up. And she's talking to the princess. And she's like, you like this man? And the princess is like, I don't know. She's like, when you want a man, you take him. Grab him. She goes, grab him. Take him. And I'm like, that's a woman. More women need to do that.
I think it's happening.
It is happening, but they need to be taught to do it younger. They need to be accepted, and it needs to be like, you know, they got to flip the whole script. That's all. They got to equalize it. You want to be treated truly equal, you got to equalize that. That's all I got. You want to close out with something. I don't know what it is. What is it?
All right, well, let me just add to your just the tip.
You got it.
I would just say that women should do that, but know what you want.
What was the last part?
Like, if you want a relationship, then you should know that when you're fucking and socking.
Well, everyone.
If you don't want a relationship, then know that if you want it and you do that, and then the man doesn't want that, then you're gonna get fucked up. And that you should just know what you want going in to any sort of thing, interaction. That's my addition to your...
Yeah, well, it's easier said than done. Because
100%.
You meet someone and you think you're just going to hook up, and then the next thing you know, you're catching feelings. That's what they used to call it. That's what they used to call it when we were kids, catching feelings. I don't know what they call it now.
Don't play yourself is what I'm saying.
What do kids call it now, catching feelings? I don't know. We don't know. None of us
I have no clue. I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Well, I guess that's a good lead into what I wanted to talk about.
I act like one. What do you got?
I do too.
One of my joints is soaking wet for some reason.
So Dan, I'm not sure you have to worry about this yet, but when you turn 40 and you have your first physical,
what?
You're asking if they get a prostate thing?
Prostate.
First of all, I'd love it. Secondly,
I've gotten one once.
Secondly, I'd be like, prostate check? Go for it. I saw it on a movie. It looks good. Secondly, I have a very, very good relationship with my doctor. We talk about everything. He's an awesome dude. He's super straight. I'm super straight. We've had a long, lengthy discussions.
Yeah.
He loves women.
Yeah.
He went to, every time I see him, he's like, you know, I see him once a year to get like sexually transmitted disease tested. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty active. And he thinks it's the coolest thing ever. He's like, yeah. He's like, gotta stay clean, bro. He's from Siberia. He's from Serbia. He's Serbian. He plays the drums. His first name is Dragon. I call him the Dragon. So when I show up at the office...
That's your doctor?
Yeah.
Does he take out bullets on the side?
He's a very reputable physician. And he's my whole entire family's doctor. My old man's got connections. He could have like any doctor. And this guy's like the doctor. But anyway... This guy, I walk in the fucking office. I'm like, yeah, hey, I'm so-and-so. I got an appointment with the Dragon. They're like, what? You mean Doctor this? And I'm like, that's the guy. And anyway, I get in there in the first 10 minutes. He's a super political guy. He'll like give me all this. He's pro-Trump, pro all this other stuff. He bombards you with his political agenda, which I don't have one, so it doesn't bother me. It's just like, it's like white noise for me. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, buddy. Right. But then afterwards, it transitions into babes, and he's into microdosing. He went to Serbia and stayed at a shaman tent and tried ayahuasca, aka MDMA, with the MAO inhibitor. He went for the long haul. He did not have a great time. He described it as he only had what he described as hyperacoustia, which meant he could hear everything like in super clarity, and he could also like, basically cool. When you do shrooms, you could like listen to a music and hear all the instruments all at once, but segregate them in your mind. He was hearing everything going on in this tent that they weren't allowed. They were in a yurt, like a Siberian yurt.
Yeah.
And there was like a shaman like administering them this like.
He didn't like it.
He had a bad experience. He said he wants to try it again. But this is a grown man he's like 50 something years old. He's in good shape. He's a very well respected physician in the area, and at a major hospital. And he went out and did a DMT trip because he wanted to see what it was all about. He did not have a good experience. He said he only tripped a little bit. He had a very like long sense of space time, like he felt like he was trapped in the yurt forever. And I guess these people, because they drink this stuff and it's no good, they puke and shit themselves like crazy. And I guess he's stuck in this yurt with people, and he said he felt like he was in there forever with people pooping and shitting and puking themselves. And I was like, that does sound like a terrible trip. I was like, that sounds terrible. So anyway, the dragon had a bad trip on the DMT out in Siberia, wherever the fuck, Serbia. I'm sorry.
So have you had your annual?
So you're asking me, you want me to answer your question if I've had a doctor put his finger up my anus? I have not.
I have.
Well, that's
I was younger though, but I had a fissure.
I asked about it. I was like, should you give me a little poke? He's like, oh, you don't have to worry about that yet.
They say 50, don't they?
No, 50's the colonoscopy.
Well, that's what
tube you out.
What are they looking for? You're looking at my prostate the other way?
Yeah, they just...
Man.
But I just had mine.
You'd be all right. You were just talking a couple weeks ago about suppositories and how great they were.
I didn't stick it up my own ass.
Right. I think you're out.
You said next time.
You're out.
I was gonna do it to myself if I had.
I think you're sleeping when they do it to you. That whole.
Colonoscopy is.
Yeah.
But not finger up the butt.
No. You're wide awake. Phil.
Why? Because because it's so invasive that most guys are too like homophobic to get it done?
Well, it's
or is it that it feels so good that no man would be able to control themselves from going, oh my God. And so
some guys blow their load.
So for comfort purposes of both the doctor and the patient, they put the guy out.
That's only for colonoscopy.
That's
invasive.
I'm talking about milking the prostate.
No, when they check the prostate with their finger, some guys blow their load.
Yeah, it's in and out though. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I didn't. It didn't feel good for me. It felt like I was taking a shit in reverse.
I had a vasectomy.
It's uncomfortable.
And I was awake, and I'll be damned if I am passed out the first time anybody puts something up my butt.
No, they're only for colonoscopy. You have to be. It's painful.
I'm going to be conscious.
They go up in there for that, and they suck it all out, Clear your system. But yeah, so I'm just saying, man.
Isn't that an enema?
I my friends don't believe it to be true that it happens, and they're in for a rude awakening.
Why,
you get it?
You got it?
Oh, yeah.
What are you saying? Someone checked out your prostate?
So in a year, I'm going to have to get that? Fuck that.
Yeah, man.
I'll refuse. I'll say no.
You can, but he's like, the doctor will be like, well, you might as well go checked.
So we got one guy, me, that asked for it. One guy that got it done, I can't even believe it happened.
Yeah.
And one guy that will refuse it no matter what happens.
Yeah, it happened.
You're living on borrowed time anyway. The last thing
I don't need that.
I mean, it's a quick situation, but I just felt like your doctor's going to talk to you. I don't know your doctor, but my doctor is just like, all right, you're 40 now, and he's just spraying lube.
Did you expect it?
Well,
I
was like this. This is what I was like. I felt like it was a fist, but
yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, when did this happen?
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was
is this
like,
what you wear last weekend? You curled up in a little ball, like trying to recover, like
in a cold shower, like in the shower cold.
I was just like, yo. I was like, he's like, you're 40 now, so you got to do this, and he's like, so turn around. This is 100% how quick it happened. So turn around, and I go. I turn around.
Before you knew what was going on.
You over the table, right?
I bent over. I don't know. I did it.
He had his hand up there before you knew it was
going on. I'm like, so this is it.
Oh yeah, it's not very good. I don't like it at all. I got it once already. I told you.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it again.
Just quick though. He didn't.
It was like
he
10
didn't-
years ago.
I felt like he could have like. He's probably done. He's probably did like I was probably his sixth butthole.
Oh,
That might have been his
it's
sixth
a little
butthole.
dick up your ass. Ah!
That's a bad sales pitch, but I still feel like I'm missing out. My doctor's not doing his due diligence. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want anything bad going on back there.
He thinks it's a miracle of science that I don't have any kind of like sexually transmitted diseases.
Kind of is that you've never had one, right?
Right. It really is.
To my knowledge, no. I explained to him
You
that
could have thought one off though and not realized.
using the force.
Oh, just good immune system.
I think my
Yeah, using the force.
I don't know. I thought you meant using the force. That's what I generally do when I'm trying to change something. I thought that hey, it was the first thing that came out of my mouth was like using
hilarious.
the force because like that's what my first instinct was like. Is that how I did it? But anyway, hey, listen, man. Thanks for listening in. It's been a fun 10th episode. I'm drunk. Get some mead. Don't kill anyone over the economy. Try not to get too stressed out about it.
And if you're 40,
watch
be
your
prepared
caboose.
for your next doctor's appointment.
Watch your caboose.
Make sure your
Watch the news. Big
make
UFO
sure your
shit coming.
butthole's clean. Make sure your butthole's clean.
Big UFO shit coming. Watch the news.
UFOs so hot. UFOs.
Anyway, see you next time, guys. We're out.